Vlogging is a huge part of YouTube, and a lot of people are definitely interested in vlogs in general, whether it is making them or just enjoying them. Or some people even like to do both. In fact, I think most people would probably like to be able to do both. And a lot of people I've noticed are definitely very intimidated by the idea of getting into vlogging, not necessarily because they don't believe that they can't tell the story or they don't believe that they wouldn't be good enough to do it, but they believe that the equipment is something that is very, very important. Considering that so many of the most popular vloggers use very expensive equipment in order to make these fantastic vlogs and films, some people do become a little bit discouraged to get into them because of that, because they believe that the barrier to entry is much higher than they can achieve. And while I'm here to try and prove things are not the way you might think that they are, with this $150 vlogging setup that I prepared here, and there's definitely more in the kit for 150 bucks than just what you see here. And I have to say that for the budget, this is a very solid kit. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about it, and hopefully this will make things a little bit easier for you to get into vlogging if you're interested in doing so. This is the $150 vlogging setup. Let's begin. And first thing's going to be first, let's go ahead and talk about the video maker itself. Here we have the Canon PowerShot S110. This camera is pretty old by now. It's, I would say, around 8-9 years old or so. However, this camera still has aged so well, and this is why. You can find this camera usually for around $100, so this is definitely going to be the most expensive component in this kit. However, with this camera, you do get 1080p, 30 frames per second recording, which is very important. The autofocus on this camera is also pretty good, I would say, for the price especially. You also have a pretty gigantic touchscreen around the back that is actually pretty good at letting you know if things are in focus. Just because of the autofocus that I mentioned earlier, this camera, even though it does not have a flip out screen, you can still trust it that it is going to have a good frame and a good shot. Not to mention that this lens is also relatively wide angle, not super wide angle, but it's definitely wide enough that can capture quite a bit around you. And if you keep this pretty close to you, you're still not necessarily going to be all on top of the camera as if it were like this. No need to worry about that. This is actually very good for vlogging for that particular reason. It has a ton of different features. It supports full SD card and also has an HDMI input over here, so you can connect this to an external display. And if you wanted to, it's got different dials up top, experimenting with different shooting modes, and all of that sort of stuff. You can't make too many adjustments to this camera, unfortunately, but it also does have Wi-Fi connectivity, so you can connect this to your smartphone and be able to view pictures and videos in that way. So yeah, this camera is definitely very nifty for the money. It's also very lightweight, which is part of the reason why I went ahead and chose this camera for the vlogging setup. And up next, we're going to have this GorillaPod here. A lot of people are definitely used to seeing GorillaPods for a lot more than what this one actually costs. I got this one for around 8 bucks actually, or 7. You'll definitely be able to find this very cheap, and the prices do fluctuate. I got this one from this particular manufacturer on Amazon called Bringer Pet. This GorillaPod is actually pretty good for the money. You could still bend it around and articulate it in any way you would like. Right now I have it folded straight. However, you could still bend it a little bit if you wanted more of an angled shot like this. You could set this on a table thanks to the grippy feet at the very bottom. Because you can articulate this in so many different ways, you can stick this on, let's say, the car seat. You could stick this on any kind of tube, staircase, on the railings. You can stick this in a lot of different places and trust that for the most part, it should be able to stay in the same spot, just depending on whether you set this up correctly or not. For the price, this is definitely a very good one. And this is going to be the stick we're going to use for vlogging. Now, our camera does not have a microphone input, which might actually be a turnoff for a lot of different people. However, do not fret, because we still have the option to use a lavalier microphone. You can just go ahead and connect this little lavalier microphone to your smartphone and just use the voice memo, and it's going to work just fine. And then later on, you can sync it up in post. This microphone in particular, I got it from Pop Voice. It's a lavalier microphone from Amazon, and I got it for about $13, even though there still exists even cheaper ones. This one is definitely adequate for this sort of thing. You can just go ahead and tuck it under your shirt and clip it onto the very collar or the very top of your shirt, wherever that ends. Once you turn on the voice recording app, it's going to start recording your voice while you still use the camera to record yourself. The camera will be recording its own audio. However, in post, when you're editing the video, it is very easy to sync up the audio and the video. No issues there. I'll even make sure to show you how that works in Adobe Premiere Pro. However, I would definitely consider investing in a microphone like this one, just because the audio of this camera is still pretty good for what it is, but it does capture a little bit too much noise from things around it. Something bumps near it, or if something in it moves or around it moves, you'll be able to hear that very loudly, and that's not very good. Having a microphone, having good audio is very, very, very important to having the best videos and the best vlogs. I would not skip out on the lavalier microphone if you for some reason still had to skip out on something. And well, over here we do have a standard affair. We're going to be shooting at 1080p, and the videos here don't necessarily take up a ton of storage, so I went ahead and purchased a 32 gig SD card from Samsung, and I stuck it in here. It is a relatively fast SD card, and it will definitely be able to support all the types of videos that you can make with this camera. Not that there are that many, really. I would say that that amount of storage is definitely sufficient for this camera. Now, when you purchase the camera, it should come with a battery, hopefully. However, one single battery is not good enough to get you through the entire day, especially if you plan on vlogging for quite a bit of it. So definitely invest in extra batteries, which is what I did here. So I went ahead and invested in an extra 2 batteries for this camera, since I probably wouldn't be vlogging for the entirety of the day, and even if I was, I would still be turning off the camera intermittently. So 3 batteries should be enough with that sort of usage to last you for the entire day. But if you can afford to get even more little batteries for it, I would consider that as well. The batteries, I was able to get 2 extras for just $11 both. So if you invested in 4, for example, then you should probably get those for around $20, $22, around there. And it is definitely a very good investment, especially if you're getting it for vlogging. You don't want to have to stop recording to take out the battery to then leave it charging and then wait until that finishes charging, because these batteries do take quite a while to charge, so that is definitely worth keeping into consideration. Extra batteries are a must for this setup. And lastly, we've got the carrying case itself. So this carrying case is very small, and it's meant for point and shoot cameras, which is perfect for our camera here in particular. And even though this particular package is actually very small, you can fit quite a bit in here. You can fit the extra batteries around the front, you can fit the camera, the lavalier microphone with its little pouch, which is included with the purchase, by the way. And you can also even stick the Gorilla Pod right around the back behind the strap. And it even has this little strap for you to carry it around on your shoulders. This setup is definitely very lightweight considering everything that is here. And the fact that this is so small, it makes it very easy to travel with, and it will not get a lot of attention, even with that monopod sticking out right outside of the case itself. If you don't call too much attention to yourself, it's definitely better. However, with this minimalist setup, you will definitely be accomplishing that. Now this tiny bag, I got that for around $8, maybe a little bit less than that. I will make sure to leave links to everything that I mentioned here in the description. They're all affiliated, by the way, so you decide to purchase anything that we included down in the description. We do get a small commission for that, which does help us run things a little bit smoother around here. But anyway, time for the following portion of this video. Let's go ahead and test this out. I will be doing a vlog using this exact same setup that I mentioned, and I'm going to be talking about its performance, going to be showing you what the footage looks like, what the audio sounds like, what everything's going to look like once everything is synced up. And if there's any kind of color grading to be done, I'll make sure to take care of that. So I will be preparing a short little vlog just to give you guys a demo for that. And also, with that said, let's get started. As everybody knows, it's not a real vlog if you're not blasting music in your car, right? Right? Nicholas from Tech Summit? That's Nicholas from Tech Summit there. You haven't seen him in a long time, have you? You might wonder why. I do too. Say hello. He doesn't miss you guys.
Sure. What an intro.
Nasty.
I'm honest.
Yeah, you are. I guess you are honest. Okay.
They're putting me on the Belt Parkway?
Oh no.
That's fine.
Well, I guess you could say that for this drive, we might have to put on the belt.
In a quarter mile, merge onto Belt Parkway, Short Parkway.
You're corny.
Great.
Do you want to hit that place, that dirt bike trail? The one that I told you about before, remember?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, We could walk, and I'm pretty sure we're allowed to record over there.
Nice, yeah. I'm totally down for that.
I don't know what the address is, and I forget the name, but I feel like it's somewhere in here.
It's alright, we'll go ahead and find it.
If you Google it, try to check for it.
Yeah, for sure.
Hello? Hello?
You can't talk to Mama right now. She's sleeping.
Oh, okay. All right, Kira. I hear you.
Where are you right now?
I'm driving. Where are you?
I'm still in the house with Mommy.
Oh, that's cool. How was soccer practice?
That's good.
Oh, yeah?
How's work?
Work? I mean, I don't know. I'm not at work. I'm driving.
Wait, but did you have work today?
No. I mean, yes, but I didn't get paid.
Sorry, say the name of the contact you say.
Dad, Cell.
I didn't catch that. Tell me just the first name.
Dad.
Since I'm having trouble understanding, you might want to try again when it's safe to use your screen.
You know what, Google? You're right.
Yeah, so now we're going into the park to try and get some footage. Today we're going to be working on the Nintendo Switch versus the Nintendo Switch Lite. And we're going to decide which one you should buy, depending on what kind of person you are. With that said, join us on this long journey through the cemetery until we get to the said location. It's gonna be great.
Long journey through the cemetery turns away.
Don't click off yet. Us being in the cemetery is the whole show. Do you want to stop by to get some food first?
You can do that. Maybe.
Like, I mean, I can hold it, but if you're hungry.
No, I'm hungry. I can hold it. Like at this, like for work,
Mm.
it's like at this point, it's like I'll go the whole day without eating, and then I just get to the end of the day, and I'll maybe get my lunch break. Or not. So I'm on my way to work, right? And I'm on Eastern Parkway, and it's freaking crowded. And I go to turn onto Brooklyn Avenue, right? And it's like a thin two-way street, but there's enough space for like a big truck, you know what I mean? So it's like a good amount of space. So I'm on the right lane, right? And this dude's driving like he's doing like maybe like 10, 15 miles an hour. So I go around him. And when I go around him, I signaled, I did everything correct. There's a minivan behind me, and I cut him off because he wanted to go first. He wouldn't let me in, so I just go, and then I take off. I'm doing like maybe 40 and change, right? And then, so like another in front of me 2 blocks down, and this minivan's still behind me, and I go right, and I guess the minivan was trying to go around me to cut me off this time, but again, I got there before him, and I cut him off, and I like, now he was pissed because he started honking behind me. So like we get like 2 blocks down, and we're going past a school, mind you. So I slowed down, right? And then he took that chance to like fly around me, and he went on the left lane, I was on the right. I was now doing like maybe 20, and he goes at like 40 miles an hour. He goes, like a 45 degrees. So this is the car, and then this is his car. He goes like that, and I hit my brake, and then he keeps going, and I swerve around him, and now me and him are racing down the block trying to get past each other. And like, he's about to hit a car that's in front of him. So I'm like, all right, I stop, I hit my brake, he keeps going, almost crashes, goes around, hooks right, and I just keep going straight because I'm like, this dude's a dickhead. I'm not gonna deal with him. What I'm saying is I won.
Do they? I'm not a taco guy though.
Hi, how you doing?
Pepsi.
A small Pepsi?
We have Coke, is that fine?
Definitely.
Fine.
Yeah.
Medium or large?
Medium.
This.
Where's Pennsylvania? Flatlands.
This right here is the only reason why we drive around. Stuff this in here. My phone, and I'm gonna go out.
Children get older. I am getting older too.
All set to go. Here you go. Alright, nice.
The Met path, but if you wanted to look scenic,
Okay, yeah. Let's look for that. You know, I actually don't have like a wind socket for this microphone, so I really hope that the audio sounds okay.
I mean, there's wind, but not that much.
Yeah,
So it should be fun.
I guess so. This is becoming a hiking trip.
Yeah.
So,
That's simply what it is. It's a hike.
yep, if you turn around, that's New York City over there. Okay, all the way back in the studio now. And, well, I've unfortunately got a ton of work waiting for me here. So at this time, I'm just trying to work on the comparison video between the Switch Lite and the Nintendo Switch. So by the time that this particular video is posted, this video here of the Nintendo Switch versus the Switch Lite would already have been uploaded by then. But, you know, I just felt like bringing that up in case you're watching this in the future and want to watch that kind of video. Maybe you should know that it exists. Anyway, inside right now I'm just taking care of turning on the lights, getting everything set up for recording here. We've got the warm light, we've got the cool light, and then we've got the overhead light that shines right on me. This is where I record myself. That's where you see me talking into, and my G7 is right there. And yeah, I'm going to have to ask you all to please excuse my table. It is filled with handhelds and little props here. These are all very important though. Anyway, just push everything aside, because I have a video to edit. And yes, I like to use my Razer Blade 14 2015 to edit. Yeah, I do realize that this is a bit of an old one though. At one point I am going to have to upgrade, and I still will someday. Anyway, that's it for me for today. It has been a very productive day, but that is all I've got. Now I cannot wait to look back at all of this footage and the microphone and then see what kind of vlog I can make. I have no idea what's going to come from this, but I'll get back to you guys with a conclusion. And the things that I'm going to bring up now aren't necessarily complaints of the setup, they're just some things to keep into consideration considering that this is a very affordable and budget configuration that we've got here. To start off, with this camera, you cannot adjust too many things on it. The ISO is automatic as well as the white balance. So you can't mess around too much with that. You're going to have to stick with whatever the camera gives you. But luckily, the results are actually rather satisfactory, and for most consumers, it's something that they will enjoy, because the colors are pretty vibrant, even if sometimes the sky can look a little bit blown out, and sometimes when you're trying to focus on something that is that bright or that blue, it takes a little bit longer to focus on that and then give you a more accurate representation of what it's supposed to look like. But considering the price and the budget, that is okay. And even then, for most vlogs, that probably won't be too much of an issue. Probably just try to keep this at a higher angle where it's pointing down towards you better to avoid that. And it is a very simple fix, I would say. And lastly, the little lavalier microphone that I mentioned was actually the one that I was using for the entirety of the video. I had it connected to an iPhone SE for audio. However, as you were able to tell in some of the footage, it doesn't fare all that well when you're outside and it is very windy. Where we went, it was definitely quite windy, so it was a little bit unavoidable, but that was just because I did not have a wind socket for it, or a dead cat as they call it. A dead cat is this little furry accessory you can just stick to your microphone, and then it'll just block out all of the wind noise, and it'll be as if there wasn't any sort of wind at all. It is definitely very useful, especially for shooting outside. And you can find those for very cheap as well. So I would definitely consider adding that to your budget if you can. But really, other than that, everything else is more than satisfactory to me, if you ask me. After that, it's all just going to be very skill-based with how you decide to edit the video, what stories you decide to tell. But that is the fun part about all of this, is that you get to be very creative for just $150. And well, there you go. All of you guys can start your vlogging careers with just $150 for shooting in general. If that is all you've got, then this is definitely, I would say, the best configuration that you could get for the money. And it is not a ton of money, so I'm sure most of you can accomplish it. This is definitely a very good setup for the money, and I would highly recommend this if that is your budget. Obviously, with higher budgets, you're going to get better solutions, better equipment, better accessories, but most importantly, better camera with probably better sensors, more customization for them, and that sort of thing. 150 bucks can still get you quite a lot, as you can tell. And I was very happy to be able to share this. Now, if you do have any ideas for any other budgets that you would like to see on this channel, maybe even lower budgets perhaps, or even higher, just go ahead and let me know in the comments section. And as I read through those, I would try to see if maybe there's a chance that we could experiment with different budgets and try to bring that over to you. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. This was a ton of fun to make. Now, if you're interested in getting this set up, as I mentioned much earlier on in this video, we're going to be leaving links in the description which are affiliated. These are going to be links to Amazon, since that's where we purchased everything for the exception of the camera, but I will still be leaving links to decent deals in the description for it. If you do use our links to purchase anything here, then we do get a small commission that helps us run things a little more smoothly around here. So if you decide to use our links, we would very much appreciate it. Okay, this is everything from me for today. This has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you all later. Enjoy.